Alright, so since a lot of you guys are struggling about this, I'm going to show you how to configure switches and routers using this device configuration. I think the first problem is most people didn't understand how to read the network diagram. So this NLZ Robin access switch is your host name. The host name defines what the switch is or the router, and it allows it for better organization. Right? Usually is abbreviated with SW, but right now it's switch and it's Robin core. It's the router. Right now these are interfaces, so these ports would be connected to different ports on the switch. So that would be, for example, we'll use fast Ethernet 01. That would be the first Ethernet. Then we would do F010. That would be the 10th interface, and the last port would be F024. This would be connecting straight to the router. Um, right here is the internal networks. Internal networks are talking about the VLANs that we're going to be working with. I'll get into that a little bit later. But as you can see, their subnet is /25, 26, 29. We have our domain and our location is saying exactly where we're going to be. Right now, usually in the practical application room, you would have one laptop, but since right now I'm going to do this virtually, I'll show you how to configure multiple laptops. This is our address information, username, password, and banner. We're going to be using that in order to display how to use the router. Or, only people who are authorizing access. The username and password, how to secure the router. I'm also going to be showing that we can enable SSH, how the domain plays with that, how to configure the VLANs. Right here, I will not be getting into this because this is router on a stick, and you don't want to learn about that right now. I'll show you how to secure all unused ports and management and the SSH capabilities. So right now, I'm going to go into Packet Tracer, and as you can see, right now all these lines are green. The reason why all these lines are green is because when you have a switch, as soon as you plug into the port, the lines will be up. So that's why it is important to secure the lines on a switch. So in order to make this as realistic as possible, I'm going to go select a console cable and click on the laptop and allow RS-232. The reason why I'm doing this is to simulate the actual practical environment that we're going to be doing. And we're going to take that console cable and we're going to console it to the switch. So right now, we're going to go to desktop, terminal, and as you can see, the baud or the speed is 966 data bits, party, everything will stay the same. We're going to open that up. As you can see, we're already in the switch right now. So we're going to enter that. Right now we're in user exec, so we need to elevate our privileges by using the enable command. You can press EN and press tab to autocomplete, which will now put us into privilege exec. Then we can use conf, which is short for configure terminal. And now we are going to first edit the host name. So in all caps, we're going to press N underscore LZ Robin underscore access switch, which allows us to change the host name of our switch. Then we're going to configure a username and password. So the username will be admin. The password, there's three types of encryptions, if you remember that. If you do password as a type 0, no encryption. If you use secret, that's a type 5, that is an encryption that can be broken in a day. Or you could do privilege, 15, and then you could specify password. And then the password will be marine 1234 1234. Now you have defined a username and password. In order to secure the lines on the switch, you're going to do line con 0, short for line console 0. Log into that and type in login local. Login local takes the username that we have set, the username and password, and has made it defined inside the line console. So every time we try and turn on the switch and console into it, we'll have to specify an admin and password. Now, we are also going to exit out by type the exit command, and we're going to start moving into domains. So by doing the IP domain name command, we will now have a domain with the name NAC usmc.mil. We have now defined a domain name, which is important for SSH operations. So we're going to try and enable SSH first. So we're going to use the keyword crypto key generate RSA. This command is allowing us to generate RSA keys, which is a type of encryption that is used for SSH. And after that, it's going to ask us how many bits do we want. We want the second highest level, which would be 2048. Now we have generated those keys. Now doing that, we're also going to do IP SSH version 2. As you can see that SSH has been enabled, but it's 199. So we're going to do version 2, update that. We're going to do IP SSH authentication retries 3, making it so that you could try 3 times before you are locked out of SSH. IP SSH timeout, which means if you are inactive for 120 seconds, aka 2 minutes, you'll be timed out. Now that we have SSH enabled and we have the host name and domain set up, we're going to move into the banner. The banner is important because you don't want any random person just touching your switch and thinking that they can do whatever they want. So we're going to denote it by using one quotation, double quotation, and then we're going to use something that's human readable, which is an exclamation mark. I'm going to type in all caps, warning, authorized users are allowed only. And then we're going to end that off. Now we're going to go check all of our configurations by doing end and the show run command. This allows us to see our running configuration. As you can see, that's the host name that's specified. Our IP version SSH is now specified, as well as our domain name. Username is shown, but it's in plain text because right now we do not have service password encryption. Service password encryption takes all the plain text passwords and encrypts them. All of our ports are undefined and our banner is set, as well as login local is set on the line con. So if I exit, it will now ask us for a username and password. And now we are back into the switch. We're going to now elevate our privileges again into global exec, and we're going to start defining VLANs. So now we're going to start configuring VLANs. So the command to configure VLAN 11, which will be the user's VLAN, as you can see right here. Users S1 VLAN 11. We are going to work with that. So we're going to go into VLAN, name that users underscore S1. And then we're going to exit that because right now we are in the config VLAN stage. So right now we cannot give any kind of addressing information to the VLANs. So we're going to exit out there and move into the interface of VLAN. Now, as you can see that as soon as you interface in the VLAN 11, it is changed to up. So we're going to do int, which is short for interface. Oh, I'm wrong. IP add, which is that protocol add. And we're going to add 10.28.11.1. 255.255.255, that's 0. Because this is a /25 address. So the next usable would be 1. Could do no shut, just for good practice. And now we're going to verify if it's up. So do show IP int brief. As you can see, VLAN 11 is assigned with the IP address that we have. It is considered up, but it is not able to route. So the way that we fix that is that we look at the address and information that we have right here. So we are right now configured from fast Ethernet port 0 to fast Ethernet port 1 on the switch. So in order to make sure that this can communicate, we need to assign VLAN 11 to that port. So what's going to happen is we're going to do int f0/1, and then we're going to do switch port mode access. This will allow for user data to be sent through this line. Then we're going to do switch port access. So we're going to define the switch port access, and we're going to put VLAN 11 on that. So now, as you can see, interface VLAN 11 is changed up. So if we look at it again, show IP int brief, it is now up. So now this can communicate, and the line is up, and we're ready to communicate on this network. To check our VLANs, we're going to do show VLAN. This allows us to verify that the users is on an active state and on the F0/1 line. We're going to do this again for all these other IP addresses. So VLAN 12 will now be named users second mef exit int VLAN 12 IP. Actually, this is also a good time to show these new commands. Line con 0 and login sync. That is so that the commands that are shown will go above, so it doesn't interrupt your writing like it just did for that. VLAN 12 IP add 10 28 11 129. The reason why it's 129 instead of 128, as you can see right here, is because this is the network and we are putting the next usable address. And since it is subnetted, we are going to use the IP address or subnet mask of 224. And we're going to assign that IP to the 10th interface. So we're going to put that on the management level. Actually, no. We're going to assign that to the 12th interface, which would be the second meth laptop. So as you can see right here, this is attached to F012. And then we are going to assign a management VLAN, which will be the address, the name of 1000. Same thing as we've done before. Name, I'm going to call it MGMT for short. And then we're going to interface into that. All right. Switch port. So the management laptop is on the 12th interface, so that would be where the management port will be. So we're going to go to, back to that, int F0/10, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 1000. Do show VLAN. So as you can see, our management VLAN is on fast Ethernet 0.10 or /10. Our user's second mef is on F012, and our user's S1 is on fast Ethernet 0. We can also see that show IP int brief. We are also able to see that all of our VLANs are up, and as you see before, that our VLAN 1 is administratively down. So In order to replace VLAN 1, as you would see, every single port is on the default VLAN. So that's VLAN 1. We are going to change that and make a new native VLAN. So we're going to do VLAN 999. And we're going to name that native. And we're also going to assign a black hole VLAN. So, for the black hole VLAN, we are going to assign every single device that is not used to the black hole VLAN. So in order to do that, we are going to use everything that is down and work with that. So as I name this black hole, we're going to exit, and I'm going to show you a new command called interface range. Interface range allows you to take like IP addresses and work with them. So we're going to start with F02 all the way to F023. So that means F0/2 dash 23. As you can see, it is config interface range. Now we can do switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 666. Oh, I messed something up there. We need to take VLAN 1000 and VLAN 12 off that right there. So we're going to do int F0/10 switch port access. That is going to be VLAN 1000. And then VLAN 12 is going to go to switch port access VLAN 12. And now our VLANs are up. So we're going to do the command do show VLAN. As you can see that all the addresses that are not being used are put into the black hole. We did that with one whole command rather than do them all individually. We're also going to do the same thing for the gig interfaces. So int gig 0/1 through 2. Oh, don't forget to put range. And now we're going to do switch port access VLAN 666. Do show VLAN. And as you can see, the 2 gig ports are on there. Now we have secured all the VLANs that are not used and put them in the black hole. So anyone who connects to them will not be able to access our network. Now we're going to work with F024. So as you can see right here that this line is red and down. That means that the router is unable to communicate with the network because the line is down. So in order to turn that on, we need to configure the router. Now, as you can see, we have basically configured the switch. The only things we have not done is set up service password encryption. But right now, this is exactly how the capabilities are done. We're going to start moving into the router now. So we're going to take the console line again, and then we're going to console in to the router. Go through our desktop. As you can see that the terminal emulator is still open. We can now press enter. Oh, that crashed. We can now press terminal again, open, and we are now configuring the router. So we're going to press no like always, enable, then we're going to press Comm-T to elevate our privileges and change the host name of the router. So it will now be host name N_LZ. Let's see what it is. LZ core RTR. We'll change that. We'll set a username and password as so. So right now, this is basically configuring the switch just like, I mean the router just like I did the switch. So we're gonna add login sync, login local to define the username and password. We're gonna even add service password encryption just to show you exactly what that does. We're gonna define a domain. NAC.usmc.mil. We're going to define a banner. Oh, I forgot that as well. Remember to do MOTD. It's not just banner. And once we do that, we have our username set, our admin password, domain, banner set. We are now good to open up the port that is allowing the switch access. So we're going to do interface gig 0/1 because as you can see on the chart that our route is the last available port, so that's F024 going to gig 01. So we're going to do the command no shut. As you can see, the line is up and that the switch and router are now starting to initialize. Now, one of the final things that we're going to do before I wrap all this up is we're going to assign an IP address to the switch. Right now, since router on a stick is not being configured, the switch will not be completely functional. We will get into that later on into the annex. But right now, I'm going to configure the router to have the same IP range as the management, because the whole point of a management VLAN is to allow for a limited amount of users to have access to the router. With a /29, we will have access to around 6 people using that. So the management laptop, the router, and the switch, and then allow other people to use the remaining IPs. So we're going to do int. We already interface into gig 01, so we're going to do IP add 10.28.11.195. Now, we would use 194 for this, but I've already assigned the management laptop right here the address of 194.240 and the default gateway as the management VLAN. So we're going to go back into that and we're going to apply our settings. And now we have the IP address on that range. If we had router on the stick, it would allow for this switch to be able to route the VLANs through this central port right here. But since we're not going to be doing that, I will show you how to trunk before I wrap up this lesson. So right now, don't get confused. I just went into the CLI of the router because it's easier for me. It's my convenience. It's the same amount of commands. It's just a different interface. So since we are in the range of gigabit 0/1, we are going to trunk to fast Ethernet 24. The reason why we're doing this is because these are the 2 ports that the router and switch connect to. So, switch port 0/1 switch port. I messed something up. So we're supposed to go into the switch and configure the trunk port because that is connecting the router. So we're going to enable conf t int f0/24. And then we're going to do switch port, because, switch port for switches. Mode, trunk. And now we are trunking this to the router. As you can see, it's re-enabling it, and it's changing this to the trunk port. And we're going to do switch port, trunk, allowed, VLAN, and the VLAN for the management is 1000. So now we're allowing VLAN 1000 to access this trunk port. And everything is fully initialized. In order to finish the rest of this, you would apply the IPs to these laptops. So for first MEF or users S1, we would use the network of